Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Check. What up, world? It's the man with the plan, Burt McGurk, aka PR, the King of Hearts, and you are now tuned in to Clocking Out, the podcast you listen to when you need to get motivated and inspired to doing bigger and better things. Basically, what I wanted to do is just revisit the conversation that we originally had, and just catch you up on what I've been doing now and how I'm trying to change things. And as you see, I put like this in there too as for reference. I wanted to take advantage, and being that we were talking, I wanted to document it and try my best to try and make something out of it for the podcast, but also beneficial for both of us. And I just needed an excuse to just make more content and edit it. So I figured the more stuff I do like this, the better,
Absolutely, 100%. You can't go wrong just starting. So I love it, and I'm here for it.
So how you been?
I've been better. I've been worse.
I hear that. I hear you.
No, man, it's been let's see, holy heck, what did we talk? Was it like 6 months ago?
It was something like that. It was a good while ago. And since that conversation, man, I took a break from things and I started reanalyzing stuff. It was a conversation I really needed. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me at that time. I was a little all over the place. I didn't really have anybody that I could go to speak with about these things because one, no one else really cares about that world as far as trying to make something or invest into something from nothing that no one really knows about and they can't really see yet, or they don't understand, or they don't care to take the time to. So the fact that you took the time to really talk to me and listen, and also to share a lot about yourself, and it was just,
I have to commend you. I mean, I want to cut in because I'm gonna be real with you. I've only probably been that raw with maybe 8 other people in the last decade.
I appreciate that too.
And you are one of only 2 to do something about it. And I don't think for a second that anybody should listen to anybody else's opinion. But at the same time, when you made that post saying that, hey, this really affected me and I could have taken it the wrong way, and it set me, I had to go to some quiet time and think for a while and all that, brother, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what made it hard. I felt like, being that I was trying to do that and I couldn't find anyone that I either look at it like there's other people that won't do it, or there's other people that do it but not openly, or are willing to share that they went through that. They want to make it seem like it was oh no, yeah, that they went through that, or everyone goes through that stage of some way, form. They go to something similar, but I don't think a lot of people are comfortable sharing it or being vulnerable like that. Me, I'm to the point that I feel like there's no other choice. So it's I don't see the harm in just being honest and upfront with somebody, you know what I mean? And it's just, it happens to be a lot easier doing it with someone such as yourself. I've never met you in person. Right. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just crazy that you see that you get a lot more support or attention or time from people you haven't even met or know from a hole in the wall compared to the people that are around you. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that I was really trying to, I guess, like I said, I'm not used to it. So automatically my brain took it in one way. Mm-hmm. And then the more time that I analyzed it and I'm like, that doesn't go with this person's character. You know what I mean? That I was seeing. So, and it's I was yo, maybe I overthought it. So I was all right. So but at the end of the day, I was I can't act like it didn't bother me. So I'm all right, why did it bother me? So then I looked at it, I was because it was the fucking truth. I was there's certain things that you just took it the wrong way. But when you really think about it, that he's saying everything that you tell yourself, or he's saying things that you've thought about, but that you just overlooked because you wanted an excuse to just keep moving forward. So it was that I really appreciated. And the more I analyzed it, I let it get to me in a bad way at first. Yeah. And I was the more that I think about it, I was why would he or anybody that I don't know have a reason to do it that way,
Yeah, no, I only want you to win. I mean, so since I talked to you, I actually started watching Alex Hormozy videos. Mm-hmm. And I got to be totally honest with you. I'm not plugging the guy. So sometimes when I don't have that friend to talk to, like you're talking about, there's a YouTuber or a celebrity or a whatever you want to call them, a person on social media who I have reacted to, meaning I have their content and I'm watching it and I'm going, man, that's horse shit. And I make sure I don't see any of that anymore. Right. So that was Alex Hormozy for me. Like every time I saw his stuff, I was like, oh yeah, dude lives in a gym, works out 18 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. Now he has $100 million. Who cares, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hit that place. So I talked to you and tried to shed some light on your situation. But then I hit that place myself where I'm going like, what is going on, man? I'm not making any traction. I'm not making any headway. I thought I was moving the right direction. So what did I do? I bought 2 of Alex Hormozy's books. I don't like the guy. Like I don't have anything against him. Don't feel me that way, right? But like I don't connect with his energy.
I get you.
But I needed a harsher mirror to look in. So I bought his book and I started consuming some of his content, right? And I start watching and he had a guy come on there who was like, hey, I want to make $1 million. I want to do this. I want to sell these things. And Alex was like, cool, man. How much have you sold? How many sales have you made? And the guy was like, well, 0. It's just an idea right now. I need somebody to help me out. And Alex was like, bro, you're never going to do it. And I was like, that hurts. And then I said out loud, watching the live stream, the same thing the kid in the live stream said. I said, I hate sales. And as soon as I said that, the kid said it. And Alex said, if you don't figure out how to learn to love sales, you're never going to make $1 million.
Exactly. I know you're talking about. I know what video you're referring to.
And I was just like, okay, so that night I got done. I closed up the tattoo shop. I locked all the doors. I turned all the lights off. I set the alarms. We have a couple of different, codes I've got to set in different places. And I went back to there's a kind of a shop bathroom that has like a shower outside, and I just stopped and it's like 11:30 at night. And I just looked in the mirror for a while, like I just sat there and just like looked at me like, you're going to have to let go of these habits, Ben. You're going to have to let go, Ben, of this idea that you're going to get somewhere on ideas. Ideas matter, but only if they motivate you towards execution, meaning doing something.
And not only that, I've noticed that it's that, and also having a some sort of a deadline or something for yourself to be like, yo, try to get it done before this time. Because like I've done that, and I'm telling you, I've had that, I guess, that look in the mirror also. Not literally, but metaphorically. I get what you're talking about, because I've sat there and no one knows you better than yourself. So it's like when you try to bullshit yourself, at the same time you're coming up with, yeah, but not really. And at the same time, you're like, yeah, but kind of, you know what I mean? And then you just go that route just because you don't have a yes man there. So you do it to yourself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I understand exactly what you're talking about. And I feel like if you don't have a deadline with it also, it kind of just puts it to the fact that you just keep doing that. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Or you just keep giving yourself an excuse to not put full effort into it. So I get exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like a couple of weeks later, I was ready. I've been through a lot the past 6 months, man. My brother, I sold the coffee shop to I don't know if this is going to break into your stuff, but about 5 years ago, I sold the coffee shop to my brother. And I was hoping that I would have the money and the people around me that when he wanted to sell it, I would buy it back. You know what I mean? And like help his family and so on and so forth. And he just sold the coffee shop. and I wasn't able to buy it back. Like, I'm not in a position for that, right?
Damn,
so like I started it. I was one of the founders. It's been in our family since 2011, right? That's a long time. It was kind of for some of our family members, it was kind of who we were in the community. Not for me, but I certainly understand that feeling. So because of that, and then I think I had shared with you some of the difficulty in the software development business. We had parted ways with a business partner, and it was very nasty and not at all what I had hoped it would be. Sometimes those things can't be helped, though. We did the best we could. We got a good lawyer. We made all the steps that we thought we should make, so that we could sleep at night for the rest of our lives. We didn't want to feel like we did wrong by anybody, or anything. But that set us back to pre 3 years ago, right? And so finances are tight. This stuff's happening. So I got to a point where it was like, man, I'm going to have to start tattooing again to make ends meet. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff's not working out. And that's not a hardship for me thinking about tattooing again. I think I had just hoped that I would be financially secure when I started tattooing again. I don't particularly like a lot of the business that goes into tattooing. Gotcha. I just want to have an appointment and do what I'm good at. And so I actually got to a point where I was going to have to make a post on social media. And I just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And it's like Monday, it's like Tuesday, it's like Thursday, it's like Saturday, it's like Sunday, And so finally, if you go to my Instagram, BenKind, you'll see this little reel of this video I made where I'm just like, hey guys, I'm tattooing again. I'm only doing it one of two ways. I'm going to do this or I'm going to do this. I'm not going to take custom pieces right now, right? And you know what happened? 15 people messaged me asking for custom pieces, not one of the options I gave.
I get you.
And this guy who never listened to me back when I was tattooing showed up at the tattoo shop like 30 minutes after I posted. And he's like, bro, I want a tree frog right here. Man, I threw my phone down. I threw my jacket down. I walked in there. I thought I was going to get arrested. I've never been in a fight. Let's just be clear. I've been real close. But somehow I seem to have a way of not ending up there. I thought I was going to punch this dude out. I was so mad. I was furious. I actually stopped the whole tattoo shop because I was so angry. I walked into the tattoo shop, and from across the room, I was like, what the fuck do you want? And like, all the chairs stop. All the artists look at me. All the client look. You know what I mean? They know.
They can feel it, and they know you. They know you.
Yeah, they know I don't come in that hot on anything. You know what I mean? Like, the last time they saw me that upset, I think was a guy who was being racist to someone else in my shop, and I was like, bro, we're not doing that here. But anyway, so that was another situation where later that night I had to look at it and I had to go, where did that anger come from? Like I get it. This guy did, this guy wasn't he never particularly listened. He wasn't on the list of good clients, if you want to put it that way. But he didn't deserve that. I was wrong. I was out of line. It was almost like I posted the video and then I manifested it not working. So a couple days later, I started going through my list of texting people that I knew, and I had already worked out a text message, how to send it. And guess what? 3 out of 3 of them signed up for stuff I want to do. I mean, it was just like crazy because in both situations, it's what you're saying. It's like having a deadline on it, but it's also going, ideas, they don't go anywhere if you don't tell them to people. And
exactly.
and yeah, I made the video and I'm grateful that I did. I learned a lot from it. I got to talk about it in therapy. But then I went a step further and just texted 3 people I knew.
Yep. And that's the crazy thing. That's the other thing, that when I thought about everything I told you, I was overthinking so much. And at the end of the day, I started noticing that little by little, I was progressing in certain things that I thought was going to be difficult to get or difficult to do or difficult to be consistent with. And then every time I would do something, I would always think back to our conversation. And then I'll be like, yo, I wouldn't even be doing this right now if I didn't talk to him.
Right.
And that's what always got me to be like, yo, I have to catch back up with him. But at the same time, I had this thing in my head where it's like, I don't want to catch back up with him and just be with the same thing. Like, yeah, I kind of started this, or this is almost, I was like, yo, let me learn this. Let me actually start streaming more. Let me actually, like, I don't want to keep, because I noticed it wasn't even just with you, it was with everyone else that I would try to talk to that would even show the slightest interest. I would see that just within a couple of seconds of me talking to them, they would just not give a shit no more. And I would keep out, I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Yeah. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, every time I talk, it's always, my daughter said it best. And this is what really got in my head.
Yeah.
I'm setting everything up and I'm editing all these little things. I had a habit of recording. You know how like you can record in the studio without going live? I kept doing that and kept telling myself I'm using this to make content. And then I would never fucking post it.
Yep.
And then my daughter would always see, it's like, oh, you're live. And they would always ask me, because of course they're my kids. And of course they want to show me support. They would want to go on to watch, like to be a viewer or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, no, I'm not live. So then she'd be like, oh, Mr. Grand Theft Auto 6. And I didn't get it. And then I was like, what is she talking? She's like, because Grand Theft Auto 6, they're forever saying, and this was before the trailer came out. She's like, they're always saying the trailer leaked and it never did. She's like, you're always. And then so I started laughing. And then she started, because at first I took it like, oh, you're just being a smart ass, because she was. But then when I really thought about it, I'm like, you really have a point. And then when I looked at it, I was like, if my kids are even saying something like that, and then it bothered me. So then I started doing more stuff. And then it wasn't like I stayed consistent with it for like a week. And then I had trouble finding work and stuff. And then I started like editing stuff, like little videos that I would make of my stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take these videos and just play around with effects and then put them out there and see if anyone likes it or something. Maybe it'll spark something.
Yeah.
So before I would post it on, I started sending it to my friend Eric, who I took with me to VCon. And he's like new to this NFT and community world and everything. Yeah. So I would send it to him like, yo, can you be honest with me? Is this corny? Yeah. Like, if I put this up, or like, do you think this is going to attract people or scare more people off? And he goes, yo, I think it's good. I think you should. And he would always tell me, but I'd always send it to him. And so he had all these things that I didn't know he was going out of his way to go show other people. Yeah. And within a month, like, this guy from high school that I always stay in touch with, but we haven't had that close of a relationship with, hits me up. And it comes out that when we were in high school, he used to go and train at an MMA gym. Okay. He started going so much, he became an MMA fighter. He got so good at it that he became an MMA trainer. Then he started working at an MMA gym that was just something small. Then he teamed up with the other people in there that were coaches. They opened up one gym that led to 2 gyms, that led to 3, and now they're making their way onto 4. Wow. So again, it was a person that I would see online, but he doesn't post any of that stuff. It's just him and his kids, and he's not like, he's just always on, but he doesn't post anything. Yeah. So it comes out that my friend Eric was sending him those videos and he liked it. And he's like, listen, we're looking for like a social media person. And then he sent them the podcast stuff. I keep my podcast profile separate from my personal profile. Yeah. I feel like I can post easier without overthinking who's watching and who's going to judge me. And I post it up and it's completely the only people that are on those social media things are people that are interested in that type of stuff. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And so he sent him everything. Yeah. And at first I thought like, oh man, like he's just gonna be like, what the fuck is he doing? And but then they just led to him being like, yo, listen, I like your stuff. I see it consistent. He goes, I want to know if you want to come down to the gym and I pay you and this and that. And at first I was like, I'm not even that good. So I started doing stuff and he actually liked what I did. Yeah. And he was impressed. And then he paid me for it, cash. And then being that you get paid cash for something that you enjoy doing, it's this thing in you like, are you fucking kidding me? Like that was easy. And then you're like, yo, I could do this a little. I started getting more into that. Then I started just streaming more. I started getting more comfortable streaming and doing all this. So I started getting more confidence. then that led to, for out of nowhere, I was trying to be consistent with hitting up Gary on his, social media and everything. That led to his team asking me if I wanted to be on a live with him to ask him a question. So then, like, I started feeling like they were small things. You know what I'm saying? They're not like, oh my God, but for me, it was a big thing, because I'm like, it went from me just not even a couple months ago, like hesitating on doing this or thinking I had to do it this way. And I'm like, yo, here I am doing it with little to no effort, and I'm getting this far. And every time I get to a certain step, I'm like, what if I just did a little bit more? Or if I focused a little bit, or I put more time into it, or I got more better and I took it more serious. And it just kept building up. And at the same time, I'm like, this wouldn't have happened if I didn't talk to Ben. This wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have sent this to Eric, and then he would have told this person and that. I'm like, I had a thing of always coming up with these ideas and not fucking telling no one about it, not showing no one about it. Then it got to the point I'm like, who the fuck? Like, no one gives a shit who the fuck I am. Like, just put the shit out there. I was like, the same way that I don't care if I post it, and it's because people that I don't know personally are gonna give me feedback. Why the fuck do I give a shit if it's bad or good, or they make fun of me, or it doesn't? Like, I'm like, you know what? I'm really getting to the point where I come up with these ideas and I see other people do similar things and I get upset about it. Yeah. But then at the same time, I'm like, you didn't do nothing, asshole. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's like when Gary's like, oh, like the person who made Uber or whatever, he always has 100 other people like, oh, I had the idea of Uber first, so why didn't you do it? Yeah. And that's the point that I started getting at. And I'm like, listen, my whole thing that I need to understand is that I get these sparks of ideas or this boost of like confidence and let's do this. And I'm like, yo, it's for a reason. And it's because whatever I'm thinking of or I have motivation to do is something that whatever community or environment or ecosystem or career or whatever you want to look at it as that I'm trying to enter in, it's something that I feel like they need right then. You get what I'm saying? And then when I don't do it, it's like that spark of motivation or creativity goes to the next fucking person. And if that person has what it takes to do it, you can't get mad at it. So it's like, it's things like that where everything that you talk about now, everything that we talked about when we had the phone call, like at first I just took it as like, damn, like I know I have a good idea. So like, I know everything and I know like, and then I had to sit there like, yo, I really don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
But the thing is, I told you in that phone call, and I've said it again, and I will say it again. It is a good idea. It is.
I appreciate that.
And like something that I've learned is like, for instance, I was talking to a friend a couple days ago. One of the guys that came and got tattooed for me. We just stepped out back and we're talking, and I was like, man, in about 7 years, will you come back to me and remind me that you and I should open a record store? And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I got to get this guy down. Like, I don't even remember his real name, but like he goes by King of Hearts on Twitter. And like, we got to talk because like, it would be so cool to have a record store. And I think we could do it here. And I think it would be rad, but I'm not ready for that idea yet. But like in a few years, I'm gonna be. And he was like, okay, bet. And he's like, by the way, he's like 50. He's like, bet. He's like, bet. Okay, I'll bring it up to you in like 6 or 7 years, or when I remember it. And I was like, thank you.
There you go. You know, like, that's fucking dope. I love that. I love it.
So like, I don't know. It's interesting. And I think we learn as humans a lot more than we recognize by doing. Man, we've just been, look, there's a reason our country is the way it is right now. There's a reason our parents are the way they are right now. There's a reason that our grandparents are the way they are right now. There's a reason people can't hold conversation anymore about politics. You know, I thought things were bad in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like George Bush versus Bill Clinton. Man, back then I could have a 6-hour conversation with somebody about the Republicans and Democrats. Now I just mention politics. People just check out. They're like, bro, I'm out. I'll see you.
Exactly. Yo.
And it's like, I just wanted to talk, man. I wouldn't I wasn't gonna like, I just wanted to hear your thoughts. I have a question about something I saw, and I don't totally understand how like government subsidies work. So I just wanted to talk to you. Like, I don't have anything to sell.
They take it in a different way, yo.
Yeah, they're just gone. And I'm like, But I think one of the I'm starting to recognize that one of the reasons we're in that spot is because we're just thinking. We're not doing anymore. Like people have a problem with the way the cities run, but they don't go talk to the city people about it. By the way, I did. I went to talk to the city people about something. You know what I found out? 2 21-year-olds are running our wastewater plant for like 80,000 people.
That's the shit that's going on. Yeah, it's jobs like that.
I was like,
I've noticed that also. There's a lot of jobs that you would think that it would have a more like senior type of person there with experience type shit. And you get there and there's someone younger than you that has the job, and it's a job that you didn't even know existed until you had the problem and get there.
And so now I totally understand. And so you know what I tell those two guys? I'm like, guys, you're doing a great job. You know, I appreciate how hard you're working. Because, by the way, they're both working like 60 hours a week. And I'm like, if you ever need anything, if you just need me to bring you a coffee or a sandwich, like call me. I'm just a guy who lives in this community. I'll pick you up a foot long. Like it's $12. Like we're good, brother.
Exactly.
Like I don't like. What do you mean you didn't eat yesterday? Like that's like you're keeping my city going. So but by doing that, now when I see on the news, you know, they're like, oh, Milwaukee, half of Milwaukee doesn't have water tonight because of the stupid blah blah blah. I'm like, man, I bet that's not stupid. I bet that's some overworked kids out there doing the best they can.
Exactly.
So like, I don't know, like even in your conversation, what you just said with the MMA guy, like, I don't want to hit that guy up right now, but one day, if I got to know you better and I get to know maybe him through you, I'd be like, bro, do you have like a young upcoming guy who would be interested in getting tattooed the way I do it? Because I'm sick of seeing shitty Pinterest UFC guys go out there and they got the same tattoos as the last guy. And I'm just like, what do I have to do to like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, look, if you want to look like the people you see, don't get tattooed by me. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, if you get tattooed by me, you're going to look like a guy from a village nobody's ever seen before.
But still, I like that. I like your style of tattooing. I've seen the stuff that you've done. I see the new stuff that you're working on, and it's totally different.
And it is, and it's not for everybody.
And it intrigues me. I honestly want to learn more of how, like, because I see a lot of different. I went to the Instagram of your tattoo shop, right? It's the Black Spot Tattoo, right?
Yes, Black Spot Tattoo Company. It's super long. Nobody remembers it. And
then the tattoo shop is needle poke or needle point tattoo.
It says on the wall hand poke tattoo.
Hand poke tattoo. There
hand
we go.
Poke tattoo, which turns a lot of people off. And honestly, I wish there was a better word for it. Mm-hmm. But let's just be real. The culture of Japan is 2,800 years old. The culture of Texas, we've been here for 178 years. We're not that old. We're babies.
Exactly. And the thing that really intrigues me about it, though, is from the way that you say it, you picture a thing in your head. And even when you're seeing it done, but then I've seen the stuff that you guys do, and I still don't understand how. You get what I'm saying? Like, I still look at it like, okay, I would picture it to be limited to what you can do if you're picking that style of tattoo. But then I see what happens, and then I'm intrigued to like, all right, I really got to sit down and watch like a whole session or some shit, because there has to be something more to it than just like, all right, poke, poke, poke. And then at the same time, I look at it like, if I was a tattoo artist and like I was doing this, I feel like myself personally, I would get tired of that and move on to a machine. So the fact that you have people that when you look it up, there's people that have done it for a while and it's only a limited amount of people, though, it makes you question, like, all right, what makes them really stick to it, though? Like, there has to be something, or what makes it so unique to the fact that they're able to do it with a needle, but still do it. There's some that you can't even tell the difference if it was done with a needle or a machine.
Yeah. And there's some you can. And one of the things I love about my whole team is that they tell the truth. There's a lot of stuff we cannot do. For instance, we're having a meetup next month in March. And so I'm answering all these DMs, Jay Courage, Tom, all these guys are coming down and they're like, hey, I want to get a tattoo. And they're like, I want you to do a bison. And I'm like, dope. That's this artist right here, over here.
Okay.
And they're like, but I want you to do it. And I'm like, bro, I love you, but I got to hold a boundary. Like I do shapes. Like, and I know that sounds dumb, but a lot of my particular work, not my shop's work, not what all the girls do, and my son, who I'm very proud of. I never thought he was going to become a tattoo artist, but now I think he's going to become world renowned. I do shapes, and that comes from my love of it comes from my love of all things original, first people stories. I remember the first time I read the history of like the first explorers were like French trappers coming down through Canada, and they met the Iroquois Indians who had no written history. It was all verbal. So once a year, once every 10 years, whatever, they would get together and speak their history so that they didn't forget it. That they had nothing, bro. They just talked it.
That's
It's
like a never-ending year, century-year game of telephone type fucking.
Right. But like I was just like the dedication, and then I read a book from the University of Texas. I never went to college. I didn't do well. I dropped out my first semester. I read a book from the University of Texas called Drawing with Great Needles. And it outlined all the tattoo bundles that ever found by archaeologists and scientists in the United States geographically. And a lot of people, a lot of first peoples, for instance, got tattooed for their rank or status in the community. So, for instance, if you had a woman who was very successful at being a midwife and giving birth, they would tattoo a triangle on her forehead so that when the battle time came, the other enemies knew, don't mess with the triangle, because if we take their midwife, they're going to come after us. So like super fascinating stuff like that, right? Like,
yeah, that's fucked out. I've never heard some shit like that. That's crazy. You would think, and that's the shit. It's a fucking triangle on your head. You would think that's kind of fucking obvious that someone would be like, well, listen, the reason of this, like, and I've never, that's crazy, but it makes sense at the same time.
Yeah,
but it's because of how primitive it was back then. That's what they did. That's crazy.
Like if you killed the third best warrior, it's okay. The tribe's going to have a harder time, right? If you take the midwife, the tribe is done, bro. It doesn't matter how many babies they try to have. The tribe is over.
When you think about it, though, it's also painting a fucking target.
Yeah, straight up. But it also, see, that again gets into, in a lot of original cultures and first peoples, they understood that the enemy was necessary, but you couldn't wipe them out. So Native Americans in particular had a system of doing battle called counting coup, where you would ride up to an enemy, knock the heck out of him, and not kill him. You got back to your tribe and you would get a feather for that because you hurt them. You showed how strong you were, but you didn't take a life.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now this parallels my study of the samurai, which I'm a huge. There's a lot of stuff about the samurai I won't go into, but one of the best stories I've ever heard was there was a group of in the teens, there was a group of, 12, 13, 14 samurai, and they were coming back from a mission that their Lord had sent them on, and they came across like 60 or 80 of their Lord's enemies. Okay? And they knew that they had been feuding for years, right? So they killed all of them. They killed all the enemy. They killed 60, 80 guys. Next morning, the Lord wakes up, goes outside on the porch, right? His 12, 13, 14 samurai are there in the courtyard in their ceremonial garb, preparing to commit seppuku. The Lord goes, what just happened? They said, Master, we killed your enemies last night, but we know it's wrong to take a life. Please do us justice by chopping off our heads.
What the fuck?
Now think about that dedication for a second.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's
do the right thing, even if you know we can't run a society running around killing each other.
Exactly.
They knew they had to do the right thing, and the right thing to them was cutting down their master's enemies. But they also knew they couldn't take a life.
Right to kill. Exactly.
It's not right to kill. And I was just going like, that's gangster.
Exactly.
That's
my head. You know what that reminds me of? There's what the fuck is the movie, man? I forget the name of the movie. You'll probably know it if you're familiar with this scene. There's a scene that it's like these drug dealers or something. They steal from this cartel guy. The cartel guy goes killing everyone one by one. There's only like, I think it's a cartel guy, something like that. And there's one dude that has like all the money that they took and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. And they basically break into the guy's house, and he's like locked up with his kids. And they break into the room, and it's him, his wife, and it's like 2 kids or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they basically threaten him like, listen, you don't do what the fuck we tell you and give us the money, we're gonna kill your kids. This dude gets loose, takes his gun, kills his wife, and kills his kids, and be like, now what the fuck are you gonna do? Right. And they sit there like, what the fuck? Like he goes, now what's your, you know what I mean? So it's like crazy shit where it's like he was that dedicated to making sure no one, and I think the money was like his bosses or some shit like that. Yeah. And then at the end, like some shit happened where he ended up like, yo, like I know what I did was fucked up. So at the end of the day, like, so it's like one of those things where it's like it's an extreme fuck. Like you don't really think anyone would go to an extreme like that or be dedicated to something like that. But that one is fucking crazy though. That one I like a lot more than the other shit. But it just reminds me of that.
Yeah, so I think I'm fascinated by stories like that and by imagery like that. And I try very hard not to appropriate any other cultures. I won't do Maoran tattoos. I won't do Hawaiian.
Okay,
I won't.
Okay.
That's look, man. If you want a traditional Polynesian Islands tattoo, I know 3 or 4 people that do that. You should go to them. They are Polynesian. They have the right to do that. Okay. I know if you want a Native American tattoo, you can do that. Okay. My name is Ben. I'm from Texas. I can't go back very far in my family tree. Right. I know on my mom's side, they traced it back to like Germany in the 1500s. On my dad's side, it gets like to my great-great-grandfather and disappears. Nobody knows. So what I'm trying to do, and this is where you and I relate because we have these fantastical ideas. I'm trying to create a new sense of tribal. I take what I see in the old ways, and it's simple and it's clean. And I can tell you one of the hardest things I've ever done is a tattoo of a triangle, a tattoo of a square, a tattoo of a straight line. Okay? These things are very hard. You know what's easy to do? Man, I could already have a machine and do a buffalo. Like there's so much stuff in buffalo, you can just hide it all. Your art does like you.
Exactly. I know what you mean.
Right?
It's a lot harder to hide anything when you're doing straight line.
You want to put a straight line down somebody's arm, like all the way down. Like, dude, it's difficult. It takes work.
And for it to be straight and line.
And then you got to explain to people that, like, when they look in the mirror, why it's crooked. So you want it to look right, but sometimes on the human body, it isn't right, but it looks right when people are looking at you.
Yep.
So it's things like that that I'm really passionate about. I'm passionate about education. I'm passionate about, if you're under 25 years old, I was taught by the artist that I got tattooed from. I was taught these rules. If you're under 25, short sleeves up, shirt sleeves up, short sleeves up. So above your knees and above here, so you can hide it when you're wearing shorts and you can hide it when you're wearing a t-shirt. If you're under 25 years old, that's what I try to encourage people to do. You say, now, Ben, you have a neck tattoo. You have hand tattoo. Yes, from my toenails to right here so far, I am tattooed.
Now, did you wait? What age did you wait to go past the shirt and the legs and all that?
For me, it wasn't an age, but it kind of coincided with financial independence.
Gotcha.
So I was 33 years old when I finally had some savings in the bank, a little bit, not what people would consider a lot, but a little bit. And I had failed at enough businesses and had enough, I could put my hands on enough cash that I could start another business, that I could pick up and move to another town and start over, right? And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to get my neck tattooed because I don't need, I have enough life experience that if I lose my job or my standing because of this, I'm going to be fine.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, that said, I have tattooed some 22-year-olds who lost their parents or a parent, and they needed armor, and I gave them armor.
Yes.
I do not regret that. I will do it again. I've done it before. There are some people who have had a very different life than you and I, and if they ask me, I will do my best. So
that's crazy that you say that, because I got this. I was 24 and I got this, and it goes around my arm and all that.
Yeah.
And it was inspired by I don't know if you know Assassin's Creed.
I do. Yeah.
My last name is Aviles, so I like the A. Originally, I wanted to get something like Scarface. You know, how Scarface has the T and the M. I wanted to do something with the G and the A. But every tattoo person I went to kept like giving me designs that didn't look right, and I wanted to get it on my arm because in Assassin's Creed, he has he has like this hidden blade thing that comes out, and it's attached to this. And
I've tattooed that hidden blade, by the way.
You did?
I've tattooed the blade on somebody's forearm.
Exactly. So that's the thing. So I wanted to have something that looked like it, but like make it my own.
Yeah.
So I found this one guy who ended up, I didn't know until like after the fact, was tattooing my cousin, who's like tattooed head to toe, but I didn't want to bother him. You know what I mean? So I was like, let me try to find my own. So I went, and when I described it to him, he said exactly that. He goes, we're about to hook you up with some armor. So the fact that you said that was crazy, because I was around what, 20, 22, 23, something like that.
Sometimes that's what you need to get through it.
Yo,
Pete, what's crazy to me is like, and VFam is starting to slowly realize this, I think, the VFriends community. I don't look like this because I'm outgoing. I look like this because I don't want you to fuck with me. There's a scared 13-year-old boy trapped in this body that thinks nobody likes him.
I hear you on that.
Thinks he's never going to get on with women. Thinks he's never going to be accepted in the business meetings. Oh, that's why I look like this. I've done some things that I'm really proud of, and I'm starting to be able to look myself in the eye and to carry myself differently. But you know, and I'm in therapy. But one of the things I'm also realizing is I'm borderline an introvert. It's probably a little more than borderline. I just learned how to be loud to survive, to get good at business and things like that. Because when I do like 3 or 4 hours of live streaming, or like the Texas meetup's going to be really interesting, because by the second day, bro, I'm gonna get sick of people.
I'm the same fucking way. Same fucking way.
I gotta cover my ears and cover my eyes and go to the woods and be alone for like to recharge.
Yep.
And my kids know, like, we're not gonna see dad for 3 days.
I hear you.
And it's not because he's with somebody else, man. He's alone.
Yes. No, I totally get that. That's another reason why I'm very hesitant to do other stuff with people. Like, I know it's like one of those things, like you have to talk to people, you have to stay in contact and in touch, and you have to be social and active with them. But I'm the type of person, like, I'll literally you'll see me for a bit and then you won't see me for a while.
Yep.
And the only one I only have one friend, who's my friend Eric, who's the one I mentioned earlier. He's the only one, like, people go to him and be like, yo, like, we hung out the other day and everything was cool. And I noticed now, like, he's really vague in text messages, or he doesn't show up or nothing.
Yeah.
And Eric's like, yeah, he's fine. He'll be back in like a month or so.
Yeah.
And it was like, but what happened? Was it me? Did he goes, no, he's just like that. He goes, his social battery just runs out, and he understands and he gets it. Other people look at it and they'll take it personal. And then I overthink because of that. When really it's just me. I'm just not. I know what I have to do, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, it's not that you don't want to do it. I'm not used to that. I don't like, there's a certain energy that you need, and then there's a certain energy you have to receive from it. And there's only so much that I could do of both, that sometimes I'll sit there and it's like stuff will be going on and I just fade off into the back and disappear. And it's like, no one really questions it until they really notice, like, wait, hold on, where the fuck did he go? And it'll be like the third day that I'm like not there. And it's like, motherfucker, I've been gone for like a minute. And then when I show up again, it's like I try to pick up right where I left off, and everyone's like, oh, you can't just do that. And I'm like, well, yeah, I can. Like, we're just gonna go. Nothing happened. Like, we're not skipping a beat.
Yeah, and I think that was a big part of me coming back too. When we have during COVID, we hired a tattoo shop manager. During COVID, we hired a lady who does all our booking and all our social media. And I told both of them, I said, hey, I'm gonna take 8 hours a week starting up again. And they were like, well, we can book out your week, like 30 hours a week tattooing. And I was like, no, I'm gonna start with 8. And I may do 8 all year. That's all I'm tattooing. So I'm taking 3 small pieces, and then I'm leaving 3 to 5 hours for a big piece, like for somebody who wants it drawn on, like what I do. And because I've recognized, especially now that I'm getting older, I'm 44, I'll be 45 this year. If I'm going to give my best to each person, I have to limit the number of people I'm around. And I'm not interested. In my late 30s, I was trying to do like 6 people a day and this and that. And it ended up by Friday or Saturday, you're not getting my best. You're getting me frustrated or angry because the tank is empty. I don't have any more to give. So I'm just going to start back, and I'm going to work up slowly so that I know where my best starts to wane, where it starts to fall off, so that I can say, hopefully in the future, that I only do my best work now. I only, because it's a lot. That's the other thing. And I don't want to get weird or hippie about this, but there's an energy exchange that happens when you tattoo someone.
I believe in all that stuff. So no, I totally hear where you're coming from.
And by the way, it can be good or it can be bad. I can leave a tattoo feeling better than when I started, but sometimes that means I took energy from the person.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I can also leave a tattoo feeling awful because I gave them everything and I didn't have anything left for me. And some of that is just skin to skin contact. And that's another reason for why we tattoo the way we do is, bro, I've seen some of these guys do like a sleeve in 2 hours. Right? Like they can do like a half sleeve, like this much, in like 2 hours, and do this in 2 hours. You haven't spent half a day with them. You don't even know their middle name. And like, you got your whole body tattooed. Well, that's not a, like, we haven't built enough of a relationship.
No, I never, to be honest with you.
1 second. Go ahead.
That's something, to be completely honest with you, being that you're saying it and you're a tattoo artist yourself, I never looked at it that way. to be completely, and you saying it that way, it makes sense, and it's true. That is very draining, and it's even me when I got the tattoo done. I don't think I like being that he told me he knew my cousin and that he did my cousin, like my cousin's tattooed everywhere, just like yourself, like head to toe, he's tattooed.
Mm-hmm.
So once he told me that and he started like going through the reason he did this and why he did that, and like he had like these crazy stories for each tattoo, like they weren't done like regular. He goes, yo, he would hit me up and we'd be at a bar and we knew each other, and he'd tell me he wanted to get tattooed and he wanted to get this and this, and I wouldn't believe him. The next day he'd show up with like all these different like ideas and I'd put it together, and he goes, we'd sit there for hours. He goes, and that's what I loved about your cousin. We'd sit there for hours and go through all these things, and I tell him all these ideas, and he goes, it would never bother me to sit there for hours with your cousin, because we would talk and it wasn't like he was just getting it to get it. Like he had a reason why he wanted wings, or he wanted it this color or facing this way, or have like, he goes, I knew like why he wanted it, and I could feel like, he goes, and I did it. And then he goes, and he was sitting there with me telling me, and that's like when he said the armor thing, I guess like he understood why I was getting it also. Cause in my head, I got it at like, it's almost like smoking weed at a late age, that you kind of look at it like, why am I doing this now?
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? And I looked at it like, yo, I should have got this when I was younger. Why am I going to go get like this? And this was my first tattoo, and it was a big, and it's like that. And I have like this little thing on my finger that's also the A, like,
right.
But it's all related to my last name and family. And it's just like you're saying, in my head, I liked the game and the story behind it because of the fact that they were so devoted to their family, their last name. They fought, they did this, they did that. And it's like, yeah, I know it's a game, but it's like the story behind it. And then the fact that I had the A with my last name. And then like, so I drew this connection to it. And then the idea of like, why can't I have something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Or why doesn't something like that really exist? Or maybe it does, and I'm just not a part of it. You see?
So your viewers can't see, but on my chest, I have all the hand signs from Naruto for the Death Reaper. I don't know if you remember.
Trying to make it full size. I remember the story you told me.
Yeah. So the thing, the hilarious thing about it is, I left off a hand sign, and I told he was like, so let me get this straight. If you do all these hand signs, you summon death, and it helps you accomplish what you're doing, but your trade with it is that you have to die at the end of the event. And I said, yes, but I left one off. And he said, well, why did you leave one off? And I was like, well, I don't want to be battling someone and then just be able to copy the hand signs on my chest and beat me. And he was like, bro, it's an anime. It's not real. And I was like, no, man, it's real. Like, it's real to me. It's in my soul. Yes. Like, I'm sorry, I have to leave one off because I know that one, and I don't know if they know that one. And that's the beautiful thing about stories. That's the beautiful thing about symbols. That's the beautiful thing about games. Is like you're saying, like, yeah, Assassin's Creed is just a game. No, it's not. It's not a game. It's a story.
Yes.
It's a story within a game that talks about family, that talks about doing your best, that talks about no matter what happens, you get back up and you go again. And so, yeah, I love that stuff. And it's inside me. And I think that people shouldn't be made fun of if Hello Kitty is the thing that gets them through, or a Bible verse is a thing that gets them through. Carries them, like whatever it is that gets you through, you should be welcomed into the tattoo shop. You should be welcomed in, and like that's our big thing. Like, as long as you're respectful and you follow the rules, which are basically be respectful, no negative self-talk, like none of this, when I lose 80 pounds, I'm going to get this tattoo to make me beautiful as a woman. No, you're beautiful as a woman now. Like, if you have too much negative self-talk, we won't tattoo you. Like, because we don't need that in our shop, man.
Exactly. No,
now, when you're in the chair talking to us, we'll absolutely sit there and go, yeah, man, I'm in therapy because of body issues. Like, I get it. Like, let's talk about it. Let's chop it up. Let's see Like, does that come from your mom or your dad or being bullied in school? Or like, and some women will say like, well, like I wanted to look like Jennifer Aniston. And I'm like, man, that's one body type. There's nothing wrong with her, but that's just one body type. Have you ever seen women? Have you ever seen men? Like, there's like a million different body types, you know? Exactly. Some of us are top heavy. Some of us are bottom heavy. Some of us are just like rails.
But still, there's somebody for everybody. The thing is, like, you'd be surprised, man, at who likes what and why and whatever. But at the end of the day, the whole point is that there's somebody for everybody. There's something for everybody. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. I totally hear you on that, man. And that's all of that from the tattoo you got, the one that I got, and all. It's things like that made me, like, even talking to him, like, I saw that he actually didn't mind doing my tattoo, and he was real busy and he rescheduled stuff, and it was everything, like, it was just the way that he spoke. He had like a story to everything, and it's like he wanted to talk to me, and being that he wanted to talk to me and he didn't mind listening to me, I wanted to listen to him. And I was like, I totally understood like all of that. And then that's the other thing, that what you were mentioning, he mentioned also in his own way, in the sense of like, there's some people I don't even want to sit by or do nothing, but you know, it's not even about the money. It's not about this. He goes, it's just, there's certain people that I feel like they drain me of a certain type of energy that I need. And if not, it's going to fuck it up for the next person I know really needs the tattoo, compared to this person who's just getting it for whatever, or is like, you know, like, so I understand where you're coming from with that. And I totally believe in that whole exchanging of energy. And I think that affects people a lot more than anything else, like words and shit. I feel like the whole energy and vibe thing is something people really absorb, and without you knowing, it really gets into you, and it fucks up more than just your day. It'll fuck up. It could fuck up your life, literally, in many different ways. Like, so, I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time learning how to trust my energy. I mean, to the point, and I used to think it was just OCD, but my therapist says it's not. Of just like, when I'm driving home at night, if my intuition says turn left and it's a way I never go, I'll turn left. Like, I would rather trust my instincts than I would be insistent on this belief system that doesn't always pan out, you know? Like, so yeah, like, for instance, the last maybe 12 nights I've gone home the same way. You know, I turn left at the red light, I go 6 blocks, I turn left again, I go 2 blocks, I turn right. I don't know when that's going to end, but at some point, I know when I get in my truck and start it up and start heading down to the red light, it'll be like, hey, turn right tonight. I'll be like, all right, no problem. Like, I trust my instincts that much that when I meet a person and I go, hey, should you spend some time with that person? The answer is yes. Or the answer is no. And then I have to try to politely decline whatever they're asking from me, you know. And sometimes I don't know why. They don't seem like a bad person. They don't seem like anything's wrong. But my instinct is saying, hey, don't do this. You know what I mean? And that's a big thing with my crew as well. You know, I've tried to instill in them, when they come in and they're like, I'll meet up with them before the day starts. I'm like, hey, how are you? How are you? How are you? And one of the artists will inevitably be like, man, I'm not feeling good. It's like, cool. Did you sleep? Did you eat? Like, what do you need? Right? And they go, I don't know. I'm just not feeling today. It's like, okay, well, can you reschedule your appointments and take the day? And I remember the first time I did it with this new artist, she was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, bro, like, I trust you. Like, you're telling me your vibe is not good. And I remember I told this to some guys that are my age in their mid 40s, and they were like, yeah, this new generation doesn't want to work. I'm like, that's not what I said. I said she wasn't feeling today. That girl will work 90 hours a week. She'll work 90 hours in 4 days if I let her. But like, no, that's not what I said. What I said was she wasn't feeling something about it. She didn't know maybe if she was getting sick. Maybe she had a situation with a significant other over the weekend, whatever it was. It's like, hey, I trust you. Can you start trusting you? Like that I think that's where Gary Vee is changing the mindset of like what a boss is. Like when I get to the end of the month and we didn't make enough money, that's not on them. That's on me.
Yep.
I'm the boss. So what can I do better? Like I'm not going to go in there and yell. I'm going to go in there and be like, "Hey, so I didn't clearly explain my expectations, right? And so because of that, we didn't hit this number that we needed to." Or I'm going to go in and be like, "Hey, I didn't do my part, but because of having conversations like this, them learning to trust each other and to trust themselves, and that I trust that, we're charging more per hour. We're booking more consistently. We've learned how much more money we make when the whole room is running versus when one artist has someone in a chair and all the other chairs are empty, right? We've learned how to add value so people not only feel that paying a little more, because a lot of tattoo shops, it's a race to the bottom. Like, hey, I want this infinity symbol. And the last guy said he'd do it for 40. And they're like, I'll do it for 30. You walk into my shop, you know what you're going to get told by a 19-year-old kid? Our shop minimum is $100. And that's the apprentice. And they're like, well, I want that lady. I saw her work. Cool. She's $160 an hour. And her first opening is in August. Or they say they want me. And I'm like, love it, bro. I'll be happy to tattoo you. I got a spot open 2 weeks from now. I'm $200 an hour. They're like, what? You must be rich. You must be rich. No, I'm not. I'm just really happy to make the money I do when I do it. And I know that makes it a fair exchange. So to go back to something you said maybe an hour ago, what I can't wait for is when you get to introduce to someone else for social media work and you charge double what you charged on this one. And they look at you and they say, bro, I could get a high schooler to do it for this much. It's like, yeah, and you'd get a high schooler.
Yep.
My name's King of Hearts. And I have 37 years of experience on this planet. I'm going to actually do what I promised. I'm going to go above and beyond. I know what it's worth to me, and I think I know what it's worth to you. But if that's too much, talk to me. Maybe I know somebody. Maybe this relationship can still be good because I'll recommend that guy.
Yep.
But I can't do it for that price because, and for me, it's like I won't feel good about it. And I won't go above and beyond. Now, with that price comes a free touch-up, and that free touch-up can be in a week, it can be in a month, or it can be in 10 years. You get a tattoo at my shop today, and I promise you, when you walk in those doors across the courtyard, someone will recognize my work, and if I can't touch it up, they'll go, hey, we see what Ben was trying to do here. I'm going to touch this up for free for you. So you're essentially getting 2 tattoos for that price. But one of the reasons for that is drawing on a canvas doesn't change. Drawing on a person changes because the person changes.
True.
The skin changes. All this stuff happens. And I know that you didn't make a mistake taking care of it, and I didn't make a mistake doing it, but could there be a dot missing? Yeah, your skin regenerates like every 40 days or something, right? If I went too many layers deep or not enough layers deep or whatever the case may be, you lived unhealthy for 8 years, now you're coming back to me, all the words are blurred together, great. I promised you that day I would do a free touch-up, and I meant it. So it doesn't matter if it takes me 45 minutes to touch it up or if it takes me 6 hours. I'm doing the work again. It's my work. I'm proud of it, and I want to die happy, So what? So yeah, anyway, enough about tattoos, but it's a subject that I could talk on. It's the first job I've ever had where I realistically look forward to being 95 years old and doing it.
See, because you really love it, you enjoy it that much. That's the thing. That's the thing, I guess. Like, not that I want to find, that I want to see if I'm wrong. Like, there's like making music, making content, making like anything that comes with entertaining or just like messing around with editing or of some sorts, whether it's audio, visual, whatever. I like playing around with that. Yep. But it's the thing is, being that I haven't found anything that led to like a successful version of that. So it's like, I'm wondering, is this really my thing? Because it's like, do I just like it or am I good at it? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm still in between, because I could do it myself, but being that I haven't put myself out there like that, I haven't been able to be like, all right, you know what, you're good at this, or you're decent at it, or people like it, or they need it or want it, or, you know.
You made a Twitter post last week and said you wanted to reach out and collab with me and Josh and Tom and maybe one other person.
Yes.
Didn't all of us respond yes?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 4 people. Okay. My challenge to you is not to stop until you get to 100 and then decide if you want to go to 1,000. If you did one person a day, that would be like 3.5 years.
Yes.
By the way, brother, you can stop anytime. You can change gears anytime. But what I'm saying is, when I started the tattoo shop, people said, Ben, you're so great at this. We love you. You're so handsome, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I said, get back to me in 10 years. Brother, guess what? This is our 10-year anniversary.
Nice. Congratulations.
And you know what someone said to me? They said, what's next? I said, get with me in 10 years.
There you go. You see, exactly. That's the way it should go, though.
To me, you put it out there and tagged 4 people, and all 4 people said yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now do it again and tag 4 more.
Yeah. No, that's my plan. That, like, literally. But when I started getting back into this, I'm like, all right, I'm getting more comfortable now. Like, my first thing was, all right, I got to get more comfortable being consistent streaming. And I did that without really announcing it. I was like, let me just be consistent. Let me get comfortable. Let me know what I'm doing. Yep. Then the more and more I started getting more comfortable and setting up faster and willing to talk longer and getting into things, I'm like, all right, I'm rambling on too much about this and that. I was like, I got to be more organized. I started working on notes. So then I'm like, all right, now that I'm doing all this, I'm like, I got to start doing guest speakers again, because before I did it, but I did it in a different way. And like, I was very limited. So I'm like, now I got to go about it more seriously and do things more like professionally, or whatever, how you want to look at it, and take it like to another level compared to. So it's like, I had this list and I would keep checking off things off this list. And then it just got to the point, I'm like, all right, I know for a fact, and I always had it in my house, like, I want to do something with Ben. I want to do something with Josh. I want to do something with Tom. And then I'm like, all right, so I have to make that my next thing. I was like, I always keep thinking about it, but I haven't put it on the list, because I look at it like, one, it's either not reachable, it's not an option, it's not. So again, I was like, you're overthinking and you're coming up with made up excuses for you to fucking ignore it. I'm like, so just fucking do it. I'm like, whether I'm right that there is a reason that it can't happen, or it's not a good idea, or fuck it, I'm gonna learn. But at least I did it, because if not, I'm just gonna sit there and keep bothering myself over and over, like, you didn't do this, or what would have happened if you did, or little do you know, like, you know, this could have led to this, or they could help you, or they know exactly what you need to do that you're struggling so hard on. And it's those things that the more and more I started thinking about it, I'm like, yo, there's more things that I can do wrong by not even trying than I could if I just gave it a shot. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's not even that it's something that's that horrible or big of a deal. It's just I'm overthinking and making it that. So that's what I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me just put it out there. And then the more I'm like, yeah, I'm going to hit him up. I'm like, fuck that shit. Let me just put it out there and make a public shit. I was like, instead of just a direct D, I'm like, let me just publicly put it out. Because then what am I going to say? I'm going to tell Josh, you know what? I'm talking to Tom also. And then tell you, I'm talking to I'm like, let me just put them all in the same fucking shit. And just put, I'm like, what the fuck is with this? I'm like, it's either they're all with it, one of them are, I'm like, there's 3. Chances are one has to say yeah. I was like, and if they all say no, then fuck it. I'm like, I have 4,000 something other people that, whether they're bots or not, I have to go down the list.
Okay, I got 3 more for you. You need to reach out to Gentle Tornado. Do you know? Yeah, I don't know his. I think that account got suspended, but he still goes by GT or Gentle Tornado. Let me find it. So the reason I say that is he is starting a foundation that I am or has already started it. Live hyped, maybe. Hang on.
When you find it, send it to me in a DM also.
Yes, I will. Geez, he didn't get suspended again. Oh, Hyped Foundation. Yes, I will send it to you in a link. Yeah, it's Gentle Tornado right there at the top, but I'll send it to you. So his name is Dom, and he's from Vegas, and he started a foundation. He quit his job and is starting a foundation to help teens learn about gratitude. And the reason he wants to do that, there's several reasons, but a big one to him is he lost a dear friend of his to suicide. And he wants to empower teens to be more communicative and to understand empathy and gratitude and these things like that, right? And he made an NFT project and it didn't sell out. So get this. I did the same thing with him that I did with you. He was on my mind just like you were. He was on my mind. So one day I DM'd him and I said, Dom, you got a minute? He goes, yeah, actually. Picked up the phone, ring. I said, bro, you got to stop talking about this fucking NFT project that failed. He's like, well, this, that, the other. And I'm like, Dom, you're trying to help kids, man. Talk about that, right? Yep. Bro, I could have been taken. He could have told me to fuck off. He could have hung up on me. He could have done all this stuff, right? Instead, we came up with a new plan. He's been enacting that new plan. He sends me weekly updates like I'm his fucking boss. I'm not. Like I'm just a guy, right? But the reason I say that is I really think this guy's going to help kids. And I also think in 10 years, he's going to help a lot of them. And I think that's right up your alley. I know enough from having seen you at VCon and been around your content and stuff. Like, I feel like if you reached out and asked, he would definitely come on.
I'm definitely going to do that.
Another one is Soggy Waffles.
I have my eye on him also. Yes, I have my eye on him also.
Soggy's one of my boys. We don't go like 3 days without talking, but whenever we do, I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, I haven't texted you in a few days. He's like, no, I haven't wanted to talk to anybody in a few days. I'm like, rad.
Yeah, he's another one that I've had my eye on that I want to talk to. There's people in my head that I have, but then like it was you three are the ones that kept coming up because I kept seeing your stuff and I keep going to your stuff, and it's not even, yes, it's the V-Friend stuff and all that, but even regardless, it's just you guys who you are. Like seeing you with your brother, and I've mentioned it to you before. It's like I look at it and I'm like, damn, I wish I had a brother or a family member that I could do shit like this with. You know what I'm saying? It's like my best friend Eric. He's always something like, yo, I'll get on the podcast, I get on this, and I'll do. But it's like our schedules don't match up, and he just had a kid not too long ago, so he's doing that, and he's experiencing that for the first time. So it's like I know what that's like. So it's like when I see that, and then I see Tom and how he is with the cards and how he my main thing is that I look for similarities in everybody, and I start seeing a lot of it in all you guys in the sense that I'm like, yo, we share the same interest, and our backgrounds, even though they may not be, down to the T similar, they're somewhat alike in the sense that we're not too far off from one another. And that's what gets me. Like, again, it's like you said, like when you're covered up with tattoos, people look at you a certain way, and little do they know, and that's the thing that got in my head. Like at first I kept thinking, it's like myself, like sometimes I come off with that demeanor, like I'm going to give you an attitude or something. It's literally just my fucking face. I can't help it. I just have that face. I'm so used to doing it all the time growing up that I did it for a reason. I was always the little kid that I had to have something to make people like, don't fuck with him. So the only thing I had was my face or my antics or how I would speak or how I would. So it's different trying to change that shift and not curse or not speak a certain way when I'm recording and all. It's things like that I didn't notice until I started recording, until I started looking at it and listening to myself or being with my kids and hearing them react to it a certain way or tell me things like with like no filter that you're like, you're right. And that's when it smacks you in the face. Like, yo, something has to change. Something has to be different. You know what I mean? But at the same time, nothing's going to change unless you put yourself out there and let people know that. So it's just like that the more and more I kept like, oh, I'm so alone, I'm so this. They're like, yo, motherfucker, you're always hiding from the world. So who the fuck is going to know that you need help or that you want help or you feel alone? Or so it's like when I started seeing you guys, I'm like, I wouldn't expect them to even talk to each other, let alone do the stuff that they're doing. So the more and more I watched it, it's like the more I looked at it, like, yo, this is really them. Like authentically, this is them. Like at first, like you watch stuff and you're like, oh, they're doing stuff for videos, or they're doing stuff for like, and then the more and more you look at you guys, it's like the stream will be going on for hours and there'll be like 3 or 4 people, but you guys are still acting the fucking same. Like if you're in the same room, just talking and hanging, and it's like that's the shit that I love. And then you guys show your interest in something, and it's like you're really talking about something you give a fuck about. You
go, bro, get this. So in Chicago at the National, me and my brother, we're standing like apart from a group waiting for the tournament to start. You know, Gary had that invitation only tournament. Yeah. Well, I wasn't invited. Okay, but my brother was invited. Him and his wife. Well, she couldn't go, so he invited me.
Nice.
Okay, so and my brother made sure that was okay. So we're standing outside waiting for it to start, and there's like 8 or 9 or 10 B friends standing over like 20 feet away from us, and we're just talking, right? And sometimes when I get nervous, I'll be honest with you. I'm just gonna say it. I like to smoke. Yes. I smoke a lot. I smoke too much. I'm doing better now, but so I had lit a cigar. And I'm just smoking a little cigar, you know, and we're just talking, we're chopping it up, we're laughing, you know. I think I was telling him that I was like, I hate the nerves before something starts. Like as soon as the cards are shuffled at a casino and the tournament begins, I'm good. But when you're just sitting there waiting to go in, man, I could throw up, you know. So we're saying stuff like that, and I look over, and there's this group of like 10 or 15 people just watching us. And so I like walk over, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And they're like, are y'all recording? And I'm like, no, we're just talking. And they're like, this is just like being in one of your videos.
Wow.
I'm like, bro, just come over and talk. We're just being like, there's no camera. It's just us.
I would have thought the same thing though, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like the more and more that I hung, because like I would jump in and out of the stream, and then there were times that like I would just put it on, and I'm like, you know what? I have to. I'm like, they're doing something right because people are still showing up. They're doing this, they're doing that. So I'm like, yo, first I'm like, yo, maybe it's just like, what are they doing? And the more and more I would watch, I'm like, they're just fucking being themselves. I'm like,
I'm not doing anything.
So I'm like, yo, I'm sitting here trying to crack some fucking Da Vinci Code, and I'm like, these motherfuckers are just fucking talking shit and just hanging out, and they're just pressing record. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going? So that's what I started looking at things like that, and that's what I started doing differently. I'm like, yo, let me just fucking put this shit on and talk. Like it's even now, like I have all these, bro, I have like fucking 4 or 3 pages or some shit like that of questions that I wanted to ask you. And I had everything planned out of like who you are and how you got to the coffee shop and the tattoo shop and your event coming up and your kids and this and that and all. And little by little from us just talking is like literally you hit all those things. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like it's just like that to the point that it's like I overthink shit and I overanalyze shit, but little do I know it's as simple as just fucking being yourself and just going with the flow of things. And that's what I noticed about you guys. Like that's your secret sauce. You guys are just fucking you're yourselves. You know?
And when we don't want to talk, we just film it and say, hey, it's a light day. It's kind of low energy. You've seen those videos from us, brother.
Yeah.
Like we're just sitting next to her and I'm like, you got anything else? He's like, nah. Like, me neither. And by the way, we don't talk after it. You know what happens? He goes right over there to his desk and I walk straight out the door. We're not mad at each other. We're not upset.
You guys understand each other, you know, but you know. Exactly.
Hey, I don't have anything. And I think if you're going to make this work, I think you could, and I think you are, by the way, but I think you can just say, hey, Josh, I apologize. It's kind of a low energy day. I have some questions here, you know, but I'll just start out and don't feel like you're getting long winded, you know, because like I don't really have a lot today.
Gotcha.
That's the authenticity that people are missing. That's the realness that people, and look, the way we got into cards was super weird. VCon 2, I think I was staying at the hotel next to yours because I would see you and your boys roll out ahead of us.
That's fucking crazy.
And we would go and we would do the thing, and it was good. It was better than the first one, but I mean, I acted better than at the first one. We maybe bought a box and opened it there because we were bored. Like, we went over to that coffee shop place and just opened. And while we were opening it, a guy who had done some of the artwork for Deadheads came over, and I had gotten the logo of Deadheads tattooed on me.
Nice.
Well, people make fun of me for that now because they're like, the project is defunct. I'm like, bro, I didn't get it because I like the project. I got it because I like the art.
Yeah.
Like, it's tattooed. Like it's a tattoo now.
Exactly.
Like, so he was from like France. So he came over. He saw me. He was like, "You got it tattooed on your body?" He just lost his mind.
That's
so then
crazy.
we opened a box. We get back to Texas, and I don't see my brother for a few days. He needs some time to recoup, recharge. I need some time. I come in and he goes, "Hey, you wanna film some content?" This is my brother who doesn't talk. Like, he says maybe like 2 things to me all week. I'm like, film content? He's like, yeah, I think we should start filming cards content. I'm like, why the fuck would we do that? He goes, well, Tom and Josh are live streaming and breaking. And there's nobody making content that's just like videos.
Yes.
And I'm like, what are we going to do? He's like, I don't know. Just tell Ro to set up the camera and we'll do something.
I love it, though.
That's how it started. Look at all these cards.
Yes, I remember. I've been watching since before the wall even got set up, and you guys were like measuring and shit like that for the shelves. Like, and that's what I'm saying. That's the other thing that makes me like when you explain it to someone, right? It sounds so fucking simple, but then it's like when you watch it, for some reason, it's addicting. Like, I don't know how to explain and I think a big part of it is the fact that I guess I don't even know if I watched the very first video, but I know I watched the very, very like early ones before you guys had an intro and all that stuff. And it's like seeing the build up from the wall to getting the cards graded, to picking your cards, to having an intro, to from before it was just like you or your brother. Then it was like both of you guys together. And then it was like, and that's the thing, I guess, seeing all that, you start really like, you just got this connection or this like thing of like, you want to see where it's going next. And it's like, you feel like you just get, it's like you think like you know the person personally. Literally, you've never really met them. But the more and more I saw, I was like, yo, like I feel like I would get along with these people, or I feel like they could relate to me. You get what I'm saying?
And I do relate to you, and we do get along. Tom, one of the first things Tom ever messaged me, like, I don't know if you remember, we made a video making fun of him or something, and he was on a vacation. And he did like the sleeping in the hammock thing and what?
Like, and
like, okay. So one of the first things he messaged me after that, I think our first DM ever. So I'd never talked to the man before that. One of the first DMs is he goes, holy shit, I just heard something in your voice. How is that? Like, he just heard someone, he read a tweet, but he heard it in my voice.
Yeah.
And he was like, how is that possible? We don't even know each other.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
And
I'm like, that's nuts, man. And so then he started doing the thing where he acted like me. And like, bro, again, just like you or Dom could have gotten mad at me, I could have gotten mad at him.
Exactly.
Except that I'm 44 years old and I've had a heart attack and I've failed a bunch of times and I've lost friends and I've gained friends and I'm not where I want to be. And I understand some of what Gary's saying, but I still have this loud insecurity in my head. I'm doing my best. And this guy from, I don't even know where he lives now. Maybe Pennsylvania, Baltimore or something.
I thought it was Philly, so I'm way off.
Philly. Well, maybe you're right. I'm the guy from Texas.
I feel like I'm making up shit. I know it's something with a P in there.
Yeah, right. this guy is dressing like me and acting like me, and that's
It,
hilarious.
yes, I love it.
Like, there's no higher honor when you like grow up on Saturday Night Live, and you get to watch Chris Kattan and Will Ferrell and all these guys like acting like these famous celebrities, Robert Goulet, who's always drunk and say, "Hey, I'm in the mood for love."
Exactly.
Like,
I love all that shit. I love it.
It's just, and people don't understand. I haven't met Tom yet.
Like, and you would think you guys are like family or something like that, or you guys have known each other for years. Yeah, and that's what I love about the way that you guys all interact with each other. That was the real thing that attracted me more to it. That it wasn't like you guys are just doing shit to do it. And I get like the more and more I would watch it, I'm like, yo, they're literally just here talking shit, and it's like they're like you can genuinely see you guys laughing, or you guys really busting each other's balls over shit, and it's like shit that it's like, yo. They know each other personally, and then the more and more time goes on, it's like, yo, they haven't even fucking met each other. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, or known each other that long, and it's like, yo, it's just crazy. And that's what it's like. It makes you be like, but how and why and like all
so
of
get
that.
This. We had that big live stream last night.
Yes, which was amazing, by the way.
We worked 3 weeks to get our own Twitch set up.
Wow.
We hid live streams on this BenKind.
Yes.
Twitch. We hid live streams and figured out StreamYard in the last 3 weeks.
That's what I was doing basically with OBS. I was doing like secret little streams, and then I wouldn't announce it because I'm like, yo, I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know. One stream I did, it was like for 2 hours, no sound. No sound whatsoever.
So get this. I call Tom and I'm like, hey man, and I'm gonna call Josh next, right? I'm like, hey man, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I just want to make sure that we're not. And he's like, why don't you come on my stream? And I'm like, well, we didn't want to assume. He's like, well, do you plan on streaming? I'm like, fuck no, I don't want to stream. I hate that shit. And he's like, really? Because you can make some decent money if you do it right. I'm like, bro, I already have a job. I already have a thing I like. I have 2 jobs actually. And
that's the shit also. It's things like that from connecting with you guys, you start, it's like you said, you don't stream, you didn't know, and because of that, like he's letting you know and he's taking the time to like inform you of it, and you guys sat there like, who else do you know? Like if I had a friend of mine, like, listen, we're gonna do a stream, but it's not a stream because I want to play around. Dude, what the fuck what are we gonna do? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And he just goes, hey, I think you'll sell out faster if you come on mine. And I'm like, so. And then see, I have to be vulnerable. I have to say, so here's the deal, bro. We've been making videos for like a year. We've sent in almost 800 cards to grading. We haven't sold anything yet. So like, what are you hoping to make from this, brother? Like, because like I gotta start getting some back in. I've been sending everything out. I gotta start getting some back in. So like, I want to come on your stream, but I'm not sure if I can. I don't know if I can afford it. You know what the man says? He just looks at me and he goes, bro, Josh and I aren't trying to like charge you. Like, just come on. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, just do it. I'm like, so the way you feel, bro, that's the same way I feel. I'm like,
that's exactly.
How much money are you going to charge me, Sir Josh, to come on your...
Exactly. That's the way I look at things also. Shirt. Yeah. That's the other shit. It's things like that on top of the lack of experience. Because like you said, like Tom has his own business shit. You have your own business. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's the lack of me having that experience. Like, yes, I know somewhat about that stuff in the sense of starting your own business. And I've done things that are like very small, for an example, to get somewhat hands-on experience in it. But I don't have successful experience, long-term experience. There's still things that I'm questioning. Like, I love the podcasting I've done, and I think of all these things and I have all these ideas, and then I always think of it like, oh, it's impossible. But then I go online and I see that there's people that have made things that are impossible happen, and that they've gotten this and they've been able to do this and that, and I'm like, I don't know none of that. And then when I look at you guys and what you're doing, I'm like, yo, they're doing exactly what I would like to do. They're having fun doing it. And at the same time, I'm seeing that they're actually able to create something from nothing. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I'm not going to know until I show my interest and I show that I'm really trying to make something from nothing and I'm putting in an effort and I'm consistent with it. It's like the first time I came to you, I'm like, yeah, I have all this and ideas and that. And then you hit me with it like, yo, like, but no one really gives a shit. No one cares how long you've been doing it. No one cares. And the more and more I was looking at it, I was like, yo, that's all I was thinking about. Like, just like making sure I had like a repetition of something. And then I could be like, look, this is how long I've been doing this. And it's been a year. And this is how many I've done and how the hours I've put in and all. But at the end of the day, I'm like, yo, I could say all this, but I really don't know shit. I'm like, I've interviewed probably like 30, 40 different people and had them as guest speakers, but I still feel like I suck at questions. I know I suck at questions.
Yeah, but I'm here to tell you the next podcast, you need to do the exact same thing you did for this one.
And that's the shit. And that's the thing.
Get a list of questions, have 4 pages and then just jump in and go.
Yeah.
And you may laugh one day. You go, hey, I'm going to auction off this notebook of questions that I never asked on my podcast.
That's a good idea.
You know, like, and they're like, what? Why would you do that? Like, because it's funny. That's how I prepared, but I never used it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it just, but the only reason I could say no one cares is because I've done it. See, I used to tell my brothers, I'm you, you're me. Like, I used to tell my brothers, y'all don't understand. I get up at 5 a.m. and I don't go to bed till midnight. And finally, one of my little brothers looked at me and goes, you know, we hate that, right? No one cares that you get up at 5 a.m. and goes to bed. No one cares, brother. And I was like, what? And he was like, actually, I think he was like 18 at the time. He was like, we're kind of pissed off that you say it all the time. It's like you're holding it over us. We know how hard it is.
Yeah.
Bro, that's the only reason I could say it to you. Someone said it to me.
Exactly.
Like, and that's the beauty of it, is I think you realize, you worked with it and realized that there was no negative energy in what I was saying to you. And I didn't want you to stop your dream. All I wanted you to do was focus on making money for a little bit, get your head right, and then the dream will come back, you know?
Exactly.
Like the record idea. I think record stores, dude, I read all the articles. Brick and mortar is dead. AI wins everything. Blah, blah, blah. Bro, I can see a day. You remember that movie High Fidelity with Jack Black where he owns a record store?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I can see a day in the next 2 decades where that store makes $1 million a month.
I believe it.
Because people aren't going to talk to each other anymore.
Yes. I totally hear you.
Would I do it today?
No.
I
get what you're saying. No, I see it.
But am I setting some money aside so I can be like, yo, fly down here and let's talk about this?
The day that I get that, I'm like, all right, I know. I've been waiting.
Yeah, like I've been waiting on that call. Or maybe I'm going to get 7 years down the road and you're going to make that call. So you're going to be like, yo, Ben, it's time. I need you to fly up here. I'm sending you money for a ticket.
Exactly.
Right.
Being that you're mentioning that's the reason I put like this little stuff there. Like for a while, I had this idea of like what I wanted to do, and it wasn't even about getting money. It's because I have a bigger idea, like a bigger plan. But at the end of the day, I'm like, yo, I know that's gonna be something that I'm gonna have to really prove and show, and it's something different that I feel no one's really used to. So I'm gonna have to find a way to get funds and get money to get to that plan. So I was like, yo, I want to develop a way that I can go about doing things, raising money, or at least getting people to come, whether it's people that show up to donate or get into raffles or anything like that. I want to do something where regardless of what, people just showing up is good enough, whether it's word of mouth, whether it's just by streaming or whatever it is, by ads. The whole point is just to show people that this is something that whatever you're contributing, whether it's your time, your money, your attention, that it's something that's beneficial. It's something that's worth actually giving a shit about. And I'm like, all right, so the only way that I could go about that is by getting people's attention. The only thing that gets people's attention is doing giveaways and everything like that. I'm like, but I don't want to solely just make random giveaways and do giveaways all the time, because then that's all they're going to show up for. So my original plan with everything is like, all right, I want to find a way that anytime I interview someone who's an independent artist or creator or business owner, I'm able to show support to them, not only by doing a podcast and trying to make content to help showcase who they are and spread awareness, but I also want to show support by buying into it. So the whole plan that I have, right, as I look at it, like I want to do giveaways of what I originally have. I'm into cards. I started getting my kids into it. And the more and more I got into it, I'm like, you know what? I would like other people to have this experience with their kids or other people. And I feel it's one of those things that you really don't start until you give someone their first pack, or you give someone like their first sample of something, and then they get hooked and they want to do more. It sparks interest. And so I'm like, you know what? I like Pokemon. I like Yu-Gi-Oh. I like trading cards. I like all that. It fits into everything that's going on with like the V-Friend cards and all that. So I'm like, yo, if I could find a way to use what I'm interested in to get people to come and find a way to have that be the stepping stone to get to the next step, where I would like to, whenever I have a guest speaker, I would like to use the funds or the donations or whatever it is that we have to support the guest speaker, buy into their project, their thing. And the same way you have your vault of all those things in the back, I want to do a vault where I have certain items, whether it's random things that I'm interested in, or even if it's any products, services, brands, whatever of the person that you're interviewing, that stuff goes in the vault. So now I want to switch it up. Now you have a person that pays to get into the vault. All right, they'll pay to get a raffle ticket to get in the vault. Now there's the people that are watching for free. What do they get? For you showing up for free when I go live or to do a task, you get a POAP. That POAP, you can use it as an access token to get into the paid vault. So that gives people an initiative to come. So the whole point is I want to find a way that when you're coming in, you're learning about something. At the same time, I'm giving you an opportunity to try it out, to not only support them, but also think of giving something new an opportunity. And I feel like it's like the reason that all came to play, that sparked because of the fact that Gary Vee, I knew about blockchain, I knew about all this stuff, but nothing got me to really get into it until he gifted me the first NFT. When he gifted me the first NFT, that gave me an incentive to make a wallet, to learn about crypto, to learn about exchange and all. So I feel like if I can find a way to give people an incentive to start getting into stuff or start supporting other people, or whether it's an independent artist or start opening up to something new, whether it's a clothing brand, it's like, all right, there's other clothing. All right, but maybe there's something different about his. It's more affordable. It's more comfortable. It'll last longer. It's more durable, whether it's that, or whether it's a service someone has, or a podcast or a show or not. I feel like unless the same way, it's like myself, I didn't know unless I put myself out there. I'm looking for other people that are willing to put themselves out there. I want to get out of my like everything. I have a purpose for it, to the point where I'm trying to better myself and get better at doing this because I'm interested in it. But I also see that I could develop something to help other people that are similar. I want to be able to create something that I wasted so much time trying to analyze if I would get along with you, or if you would understand where I'm coming from, or Tom or Josh or anyone else. That I feel like there's another way to do it if you could create more safe spaces. You know what I mean? I feel like V-Friends is a safe space. Little by little, you guys individually are creating your own little communities of safe spaces where people feel comfortable and they understand your humor and how you guys are and why you guys carry yourselves the way that you are. So my thing is like, what if there's it's like you're saying, build a tribe. You want to build a tribe. My thing is, I want to build not just a tribe. I keep looking at, like, if I as a kid knew that there was a building I could physically go to have someone who actually gave a shit about what I'm doing, of whether making music, editing, but they were willing to, the same way that the tattoo guy was willing to sit down with you and listen to you or teach you or show you because they saw that you actually gave a fuck, or they could feel that you were serious about it. I want to be able to create a space like that physically gives people that, the same way you watch a million videos on YouTube, I want you to have a physical person that you can ask a million times to go over things and do it with them. I want a place where they can have access to all the things that they need without coming up with excuses that they can't. That's the big picture. My thing is, I want to build it up to that. And I know it takes building community. I know it takes being consistent. I know it learns. So my shit is the same way that you guys got together, and all three of you or four of you or however what number it was that went on StreamYard and started playing around with stuff together. I was doing that by myself. Yeah. And I didn't need to. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the thing that bugs me out. And it's like, if I'm trying to figure out a way to let other people know you're not alone. There's other people willing to fucking talk to you or willing to help and point you in the right direction. And you get what I'm saying? That's what the main focus is on.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track. The only, again, and this is just my, I think, being the first brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm responding to you not down, but like a little brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like and that's not we're not equals. We are equals.
Exactly.
But I'm saying the thing that I'm gonna bring you back to and challenge you is, I think that's brilliant and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
One person at a time for the next year.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Is to work up to that.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point, is to get it to that point where I can interview as many people as I can to get experience, because I want to do all this, but I can't even, my fear is that I put all this up as like a taunting thing, but I can't even do it. Even if I wanted to do a giveaway, I could just do a giveaway, but I can't even really do my plan because I'm hesitating on it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do behind the scenes to do that in a serious way. Like, I just don't want to do it and put the money under a fucking mattress and be like, you know what? I can't wait till I get to this number so I want to do things in the right way. I want to start like a business thing. I want to start where it's like when Tom told you, like, yeah, you can make good money doing this. At the end of the day, it's like, yo, if I can do the streaming and the editing and the podcasting and vlogging and find a way to really do something that I care about, but get paid for it as my job, but actually have instead of just the money point, but I have a goal where I can build something behind it because of it. Like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I could look at is, like, to get all the experience I need to build a community, to do all that stuff, the best thing that I can do is I have to learn from other people. Because, like, I felt like I was doing it the wrong way before, focusing on one certain thing. And I'm like, you know what? I can't do it that way. Because at the end of the day, I kept starting to stream and I'm like, yo, I feel like I'm being mad fake. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk like this. I don't really care about this topic. And the more and more I started going on things like, yo, I know that I have an idea to do something, but I know it's going to take certain things.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and it's going to take time, because right now, if you tried to do a giveaway right now, bro, I probably wouldn't see the tweet till tomorrow.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying.
And that's not like I tweet sometimes. Like Ro and I put up a video maybe a month ago. Bro, it probably got 100 views in 11 hours.
Yep.
Okay. When we post at the right time, we have 400 views in 20 minutes.
Exactly. And that's because you guys have the experience of knowing when not.
Right. And and so now if I do a giveaway, it makes sense because I've made content for a year. It's Gary V's jab, 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 right hook. Like I've made content for so long and I've focused. So all I've done for the last year is make videos and try to respond to every single comment. And by the way, I'm not successful, but I try.
Gotcha. You know, I hear you.
And then in addition to that, I try to step outside my comfort zone and DM a few people. I was not good at that, and so I'm trying to get better. That's all I've done for the past year. That's it. Nothing else. Well, now we went live and we started selling some cards, and it was a good event. Now we got to make the next event. We got to do a little better. Now I've got to do better about responding to DMs. I've got to get a little bit better at sales. So, like, I think you could go almost a year. It's not a matter of hiding the money under the mattress. It's a matter of, what if I send you a $200 gift card for Black Spot?
Gotcha. That I'd put it like, that's the whole point of it. Basically, all right.
That goes in the vault.
Exactly.
But I don't want you to talk about it to anyone for a year.
That's the thing. My question is, see, that's the point I did this. The whole that's the vault. That's supposed to be the vault. So my whole shit is like, I have this idea where it's like, I just put it there and people see it and you just keep adding to it.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, at the same time, it's like I had the idea, and the way that I went about it at first is like, I would tell people like, oh, would you like to donate something to a giveaway? But they didn't understand that I didn't want to do the giveaway that day. And I was trying to wait up. And I'm like, the point is that you come on.
Right.
You're starting something small. We have something of yours in the giveaway from when you're just starting, and to show that we're supporting you and everything. And at the end of the day, it's like, all right, when we're ready to give that away, it's like, all right, that's when you first started. Now you're at this level, and it's like you're on volume 4 of this project, and you're so like the whole point is to add and keep adding to like the vault. And that's the whole thing. But then at the same time, it's like if I don't show it, people don't get it, and then if I don't explain it, people are like, all right, but where are you putting all this stuff?
But it's not time to explain it, because if you're thinking like a pirate, you don't have enough in there. You've been like I'm looking at it. That's cool. But you need to gather stuff for like a year.
Exactly.
And everybody's not going to be like me. So I hear you, but it's not time yet. You say, well, when will it be time? Fuck that. You'll know when it's time. Like literally.
You know what my problem is? And then this is what and this is like an advice thing that I guess. And it's my thing is, how do I go about, it's one of those things like if I can explain it, and then it's like how would you feel if I told you, listen, I need you to give me something, or I would like you to give me something to put in this vault for a giveaway, but I'm not going to do it for a while. And then you give me some shit. And then it's like, you don't see it. You don't hear about it. You never saw it. In my head, I feel like people look at it like I just gave you something and you just took it. You get what I'm saying?
I do. But I'm going to say the opposite.
So how would you go? That's what I'm saying. Like,
I wouldn't go about it.
Because then, like, I feel like I keep talking.
Don't ask.
The reason I say that is because my fear is like, it's like, it goes back to that thing of like, yeah, you keep saying and it's going to happen. But you get what I mean? So it's like, I don't want to keep saying like, we have this thing and I can't wait to show. Imagine you guys kept talking about all these cards and slabs, but you didn't have them behind you and you never showed them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was thinking 20 minutes ago about sending you the gift card before you ever explained the idea.
True. Okay. So that I get what you're saying from that.
I'm just looking at this stuff right here, and I'm going, bro, he's got a tiny war chest. How cool would it be if I sent him a $200 gift card and his war chest got bigger and it just sat there on every interview? Don't ever explain what it is. J.J. Abrams, that shit. You know what J.J. Abrams, a lot of people hate him for this, but his thing is the mystery box. His grandpa bought him a box when he was like 13 years old. He's never opened it. He still doesn't know what's in the box.
That's true. I can just take a picture of it.
Like, no, don't take a picture. It's right there. I'm looking at it. You got the wizard, and you got the Gary V, and you got the Pokemon. Just put my $200 gift card there next to it and wait till somebody asks, hey, what's that? You say, I'm building a war chest to give away one day things for a future idea. People ask me about this. I accept this $200 gift card from this crazy guy in Texas. I set it right here. One day I'm going to open the vault. Somebody's going to be at Starbucks this week going, hey, did you hear about this crazy streamer? He just like accepts things and he puts it in his vault. He's going to give it away one day.
True.
Like, don't tell anybody. So like,
I get what you're saying.
Here's what I told. I don't want to.
No. I know what you're saying, and I don't want you to spoil. I feel like you're trying to give me an example, but it's going to spoil something.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. But what I'm getting at is, don't tell them. Let them ask. You might do your whole thing with Josh, and he not ask about that.
True, but that's the thing. Do I do it like this, where I keep it here?
I think it's just perfect. I'm looking at it this whole time going like, is that the cardboard I wrote him like a year ago? Like, I don't even know. Yeah. But like, I think it's perfect. And I think you keep it just like that until it gets so big you can't keep it on the desk. Because to me, giving you a $200 gift card to Black Spot Tattoo Company is not selfless.
Gotcha.
It's selfish.
Gotcha.
I'm asking you, I'm sending you something that I want people to ask about, and it looks like this. Hang on real quick. Some great artwork coming up here. I want you to advertise for me, so I'm going to send you this, and you're going to set it there. See,
yes.
Because I'm authentic enough to admit to you that I can be selfless and want to help you.
I appreciate that.
And I can be selfish and want somebody to want this fucking gift card.
I get you.
Because if I tattoo a guy who goes on ESPN and gets the crap beat out of him by whoever the featherweight is right now, like, then they're going to go, oh, wow, that guy got beat, but look at his tattoos. Who did those? Well, that's Black Spot guy in Texas. And then you're like, hey, I got a gift card. Now, 18 months from now, that giveaway makes sense. Gotcha. But your instinct is right.
Gotcha.
Don't tell people. Don't sell it. Just let the picture sit there.
You know what this goes back to? This goes back to that thing you were talking about, is when you're leaving, you're always taking the same route, and then your gut tells you to go this way. And my thing is, I don't do that because I have such a bad history of following my gut, but I guess I do it with hesitation that the results come out really bad. So I always look at it like, I'm that person that I just have bad luck. It's like I have a good car compared to everyone else around that has a crappy car. So it's like when that opportunity comes and like, yo, can I borrow your car? In me, I want to say yes, give them the car. But then there's that other thing like, yo, if that car gets fucked up, you're fucked. And they're going to get in an accident. And what if they don't know the car?
That's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay to say no.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm telling you. I am a village elder, and I am passing on to you what I know. True. Your instinct has to be overridden. Yes, you could help that person, but if they fuck up the car and don't return it, you don't get to see your kids next week. So you have to learn how to get brave enough to look them in the eye and go, man, I can drop you off. I can pick you up, but I can't give you the car. But on the other hand, what you've got to learn, that I only learned through experience, is when you can gamble.
Gotcha.
So I had to quit going to casinos because I have a gambling problem. But now I bet on people. You say, what do you mean bet? Sometimes a homeless person will ask me for money, and if I have $100 in my pocket, I give it to them. I have zero expectation that they're not buying drugs with it. But you know what? But honestly, if I don't have it, I just look them in the eye and say no.
Yeah.
There was a time about 6 months ago where I think I had $5,000 on me. Guy walks up and goes, it was a weird day. Guy walks up and says, hey, man, hey, bro, you got $20? I need it for gas. I said, no, brother, I'm sorry. I just gave my last 20 away. He walked off. One of my employees looked at me and said, you just lied. I said, no, I didn't. All this money's going into the bank tomorrow. I did give my last 20 away earlier when we had dinner. This money's got somewhere to go. You say, that's great, Ben. You're rationalizing shit. No, I'm not. I'm not rationalizing anything. I looked that man dead in the eyes and told him the truth. There was no 20s on me that I could give to him. That had to go to the bank to make a big payment to keep our business afloat. So I cannot gamble with that gentleman in that way. And I can also not be kind to him and give him something that's not mine. That money in my pocket was not mine. It was the bank's. That's got to keep my kids fed. It's got to keep food on the table. It's got to keep the light, all that stuff. What is my point? My point is, I hear you, and this is exactly why you want to build what you want to build, because you want people to be able to come to me and come to Dom and come to you and come to Josh and Tom and go, hey, I'm struggling with this. What do I do? I know it's more practical than that. It's like, hey, how do I start a business?
No, I get. Yeah, no, you're right on.
But there's some days where you're just like, bro, I've had 3 bad girls in a row, or guys, whatever, I don't know. I've had 3 bad relationships in a row. What the fuck am I doing wrong? And one of us older people are going to go, have you tried spending 12 months alone?
Yeah, I hear you.
Because, by the way, I've been married 25 years, and there have been the times in that time that I'm more alone than you've ever been. And they go, what? Like, yeah, bro, everybody's relationship is different. No one's the same. They're like, well, I just want to be in a relationship. Okay, go do it again. I want you to be happy, and I'm going to help you the best that I can, but I think you need to spend some alone time.
Exactly.
And that can be alone. It doesn't have to be lonely, but I think you have to look loneliness and death in the face once in a while. And you might need to go to therapy, or you might need to develop a friends group or a hobby group, or start taking jujitsu lessons, or become a soccer coach down at the city league, just so you can be around people. Like, and those are the kind of things I would tell you. And then the person comes back to me a year later and they're like, bro, I just can't take it anymore. I really want to date this girl. I never said don't date. Go date the girl. It's okay. You're doing the best you can. You're human. So I digress. I think what I'm trying to get at is just, yes, you have the right idea. You just need to talk to more people.
I hear you.
Like you, and talk to more people. Don't tell more people your idea.
Gotcha.
Just talk to more people. Just so you did this tonight, and you and I have to go, by the way, soon. But like, it's, bro, we've been going for 2 hours.
Yeah, I thought it was only going to be an hour or so, and so, like we just, I hear you. I get what you're saying.
Now you do Tom. Now you do Josh. Now you do so and so. Now I'm going to send you Dom's. I'm going to send you Dom's thing. I'm going to send you Soggy. Like, okay, you got all those. Okay, you keep going. You keep going. I bet you're going to get to the end of next year and go, no, the end of this year, 2024, and go, holy moly. I just live streamed with 204 people. 80 of those people asked if they could give me something, and I didn't say anything.
Gotcha. I hear you now.
And now I've got this giant treasure chest, and I have all these relationships. What I would challenge you to do too, another idea, I just thought of it, put a map on the wall. Put a pin in the map for every single person you talk to, and put a piece of yarn, like it's a Criminal Minds or something, to your location.
I get you.
Then start seeing which ones of those. Get your kids involved.
Yeah.
Start seeing which one. Ben is connected to Dom. Dom is connected to Soggy. Soggy is connected to Get. Like, and then you can more easily track your progress, because your progress isn't in results yet. Jab, 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 right hook. Like, you give, and then you ask. But when you ask, one of the reasons I'm drawn to you is because you're not asking, and you also have no expectation, which this is a good story to end on. I'll let you ask a question. It's your show. We bought a furniture consignment store in 2009. It was on the Loop, and it was doing the loop around my town, and it was doing about $3,000 a month in business. Okay? They take furniture in, they sell it for you, you split it 50-50. You with me?
Gotcha.
A lady called me and said, can I sell you this business? I was like, what? Hello? What? I'm just a guy, but yeah, okay. So my brother and I, we get in the truck, we drive over there. 2008, 2009. And she says, 10 years ago, I was going through a horrible divorce, and you gave me $2,000 to help me hire a lawyer. I'm like, lady, I would have been 17 years old. I've never seen $2,000.
Uh-huh.
Like, I know you cut my hair for a few years. You were a hairstylist, but I don't just give people $2,000. She's like, no, you did that. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I never did that. Long story short, we end up buying the business for about what it grossed yearly. Okay? It's 2 blocks from the tattoo shop and does about $1 million in sales yearly right now.
Nice.
All because I gave this lady, by the way, I went home and went to talk to my mom. She said, yeah, I remember you coming home one day. You were like 16, 17. You said your hairdresser was going through a hard time, and you wanted to know if you could ask everybody at the church for a little bit of money. You totally did that. Brother, I have no memory of that.
Wow.
I'm not saying that to say I'm a saint. I'm a piece of shit sometimes.
No, I hear you. I know exactly what you're getting at.
But when you give without like when you truly do the right thing, you don't have to keep up with it.
True.
You just do it and move on. Literally, this lady thought of me to sell me a business that has been in my family now for 15 years, that my little baby brother has really turned into something because I helped her out with a divorce, and I don't even remember doing it. Like, that to me is what you're embarking on the journey of. You're saying, but how do I get this thing started? No. How do you do the right thing and have a good interview later next week? Later this week? Can you do 1 a week? Can you do 2 a week? What's best for you? Working it out with your kids and everything. Then you're going to have to call Josh and apologize. Someone's going to cancel on you. Can you get someone in that spot? But a year from now, you're going to reach out to somebody and go, hey, would you be on my podcast? And they're going to be like, yeah, bro, you really helped my friend Dom. You helped my friend when he needed it. And that really meant something to you. And you're going to be sitting there going, Dom. I got nothing. I don't remember helping that guy because you just got so into the action of doing the work. Just do the work, do the work, do the work, do the work. Action, no thinking, no, the Buddhists call it no mind. Like, just do the work and then make sure, is your short-term goal, are you meeting that? Are you being healthy? Are you not harming yourself? Are you not harming others? Are you there for your kids? Long-term goal, is that still in place? Yeah, still got the dream. What am I missing right now? I feel weird. Oh, I need to connect with somebody. Let me see if Ben's available. Let me see if Tom's available. Let me see. Now you just repeat the steps and you become, through the process of experience, a person.
I again, I think it's overthinking also on my end, that I'm like, because like I said, I feel like if I don't show it or I don't do it, I feel like people are gonna, and again, it's an overthinking thing. Like, yeah. But I get what you're saying. No, it is a lot of good things. I'm gonna see what I come up with, especially the map thing and all that, and I like all that. I really do.
You'd be surprised how small the world is, my brother. You know what's crazy is when you tweeted, I'd been thinking about you for like 3 days. Yeah, I wanted to get on that night.
I did also.
I was ready to go. I was like, bro, let's go. Let's call.
I got so hyped up because all you guys answered me. All you guys answered me right away. And I'm like, damn, like, and in my head, I'm like, I didn't expect that. And I got like so hyped up, but at the same time, I was like, yo, let me not like overstep. It was like even I know you gotta go, but real quick, it was like a while back. Tom told me he wanted to do something, and I hesitated to do something because I was overthinking. I saw that he had all these followers and so much stuff, and all I kept thinking about was like, if I go on his or he comes on mine, like I don't have anything of value. Yep. So that's why it's like I have that showed up and everything. Like I know I could talk about it so much, but it's like I have so much in my head that like if I don't have something to show, like yo, there's something actually like physically there to show that I've been adding to it little by little, and it's like something is physically building up. I feel like at the end of the day, I'm just talking so much. That was the same thing with the streaming. I started streaming every day, and even if no one showed up, I was recording it myself and trying to make little videos and put it up, because in my head, I was like, yeah, I keep talking about it, but if I don't really go live and stream, or if I don't share the content that I'm recording, it never really happened. It's not like there's nothing. All I could do is just talk about it. There's only so much talking I could do until I literally step out, talk to other people who actually did it, and start getting advice from them, such as yourself, to actually be like, all right, listen, like, they know what they're doing. They've been through enough stuff. They have the experience. They have the time that they put into it. Maybe it'll fucking work. Like your shit that you're doing, like, you know,
this will surprise you. When I get to 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm tired and my work's done and I'm ready to go home, I don't turn on the radio, brother. I don't go to YouTube. I check Twitch to see if you or Tom or Josh is on.
I appreciate that. I hear
you. And you say like, but I only had 1 viewer, or I did 3 without a view, or this or that. Bro, I don't know Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's never helped me. I don't know those politicians in Austin or Washington. I don't know those guys. I know you. So I hear you that you don't know, that you feel you could call it insecure in a way that you're not bringing anything. But when I have downtime, I think about my friends. Like,
I hear that,
and I think you do too.
Yeah.
I think I really do. I think Tom does. I think Josh does. I think when we have down Sundays, we're like, man, who's on?
Yeah, I do.
So you don't need VFriends cards. You don't need Pokemon cards. You don't need to rip. You could just get on and put easy listening music. Honestly, you could get on and play Assassin's Creed and I'd watch.
That's true.
Am I going to be there every day? No, I'm not, because I'm going to be honest with you. 28 out of 30 days, I get done, take a shower, and go straight to bed and wake up at 8 a.m. the next morning.
Exactly. I hear you. That's the other part of all this shit. I hear you. I hear you on that.
So, is there anything that I can end for you, or anything you want to end on, or
You literally went over everything that I wanted to ask you, so I know I could definitely like go through everything and get what I want there to make a proper video. I want to showcase people. I want to try my best to do that with you, with anyone else that I have on. That's something I want to get better at. That's something I'm interested in doing. But before we leave, I know that you have your event coming next month. That's it's the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th. Is there anything else that you want to share with everybody that I can help put awareness out there, or spread the word about that you have going on? Any surprises, any projects, or anything like that you want to just share, or let us know about?
Can I temporarily schedule you for March 20th, which is a Wednesday, to come back and be on your stream at 6 p.m.? That'll be 4 days after the event.
Yes, definitely.
And I can give you a rundown of how it all went, and what went good and what went bad and all that. Tentatively, of course, because I know you've got work and you got your kids and all that.
No. Yeah, definitely. I even wrote it down here so I can definitely. I'm going to keep that in mind and make sure. But I'm down with that also.
No, I'm very, very excited about. I'm very excited about the event, mostly because my brother and I hope it is the first of many. VCon is a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to pull anybody away from Gary's thing, and I don't think I could. The National is a crazy card show. I think, like you, that we need more places where there's only like 30, 40, 50 of us, and we can just chop it up. And maybe the next one we won't have in Lufkin. Maybe the next one we'll have in Ohio, or something closer for more people to come from. But we're going to do this first one on our home turf. And we may do all of them on our home turf, because we know it. It's our woods. There's a lot of places to stay, and there's not a lot of distractions. And something about the hero's journey is you got to make it hard for people to get to you.
Yep.
So I'm very, very excited about it. I think it's going to be good. I think, while I'm disappointed that not everyone can make it, it's not going to be a system of hierarchy, or, oh, Josh made the first one and King of Hearts didn't. It's going to be more like, hey, this is the first group. How can we get everyone here next time? How can we raise a little money for flights? Or maybe next time I can book out 7 Airbnbs before we announce the event. And I think also we're going to live stream a lot. So I think everybody's going to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be live streaming to go, hey, look at us, we're great. We're going to be live streaming because we want everyone to participate.
Exactly. Yeah. If there's anything I could do on that end to help spread the word, doing live streaming from my end over here, let me know.
Yeah. Great. I appreciate that. And I may take you up on it. I may just say, hey, can you live stream Saturday night all I'm going to do is put a camera up right here.
And
there
I'll
won't be
commentate
anybody
or
to
whatever.
talk.
Yeah, so go ahead. I'm fine with it. I'm dead ass. I'm with whatever I could do or anything.
No, that's a great call out, because I think Whiskey is planning on not playing in the tournament. He plans on live streaming it, but all the live streamers are going to be here.
Let's do that.
So he may be able to go into your pipeline, and just like you'll get to hear him talking shit, like commentating.
I'm totally with it. I'm totally with it. I'm with it. Whatever I can do, whatever ideas, I'm with it. I like that though. I'll definitely be down for that, man. Anything I could do. Like I said, I'm still, if in some miracle way there's a way for me to get down there, I'm definitely gonna try my best to get down there, because again, like it's just being around that. I need to be around that more. You know what I'm saying? So whatever I can do to really break out and really stop the excuses and just get there and make it happen, I'm gonna do it. But
you're doing it.
And I appreciate everything, man. I appreciate the talks you've given me. I appreciate the information you share with me, your personal life, everything. I'm just very appreciative. Not many people, not any people, honestly, do that. So on my end, I appreciate that very much. I'm thankful. And I'm looking forward to doing more stuff together. I'm doing more talks, more streams with you, with the rest of the guys, all of us together. I really just want to make sure that I'm more consistent with staying in touch. You know, I like talking to you. I like the way my head is afterwards and the things that I think of and everything. And let
me leave you with this mental image: shoulder to shoulder. Like literally, we're not, I'm not above or ahead. You're not behind or below. Tom is not ahead of me because he has 10,000 more followers than I do. Josh is not ahead of me because he's stronger than I am. The deal is, it's like Naruto. Like there's a spot next to me and you come and fill it. And there's a spot next to Tom and Josh comes and fills it. And slowly we're making a line. You know what I mean? And when someone falls out, you're going to check in on me and be like, yo, Ben, where you at? You good?
Yeah.
And when you fall out, I'm going to be like, bro, I've been thinking about you. Where you at? Sometimes all you may text back is, I'll get with you later. Great. I'm not going to take it personally. But I am looking for you in the line next to me. And I think everything you want to do, Tom, Josh, Dom, Soggy, I think that's what we're trying. That's the idea we're all putting forward, is like, man, I thought we were all so different, but it seems like we're all the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I love. The more and more that I'm watching you guys and I'm learning more, the more I'm starting to see that, and the more I want to make sure that I feel like there's a reason for it. I know it may sound stupid, but I feel like there's a reason for it. You know what I mean? As crazy as it is that we live as far apart from each other or whatever, I think there's a reason for it. I think there's a reason, like you say, that however you want to look at it, like we think of each other, because I do that. I do that myself. Yesterday, I thought the stream was over. I went back on it. You guys were still going on. And I'm like, damn, still, like, you know what I mean? But again, it was that thing of like, yo, they're just talking, and they're not even, it wasn't even like you're trying to push something or reach. Like you guys were just kicking the shit. And it's that I'm like, I need that. And I know that that's something that I've been looking for. And the fact that I'm looking at it and I have them, like I said, like I needed to stop looking at it in a certain way and just look like, yo, they're actually just willing to talk and to just be there. Like there's no hidden agenda. There's nothing. It is what it is. Like, so I'm appreciative of that. I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you a lot better, to having more conversations like this, and just thank you, Ben. Thank you.
All right, brother. Well, I'm going to go get some supper and see how the crew's doing.
Gotcha, man. Have a good rest of the night, and till next time, man. Take care.
All right, we'll see you later.
Later.